fire.
Hey, what is up guys, FlotownHockey here, and today I want to give you guys my personal breakdown review of the brand new Black Ops 3 trailer that was released at E3 this year. So if you haven't seen it just yet, click on the link in the description below, and it will actually lead you to the Sony website where you can watch the full HD trailer for this video. Now I am going to be breaking this down piece by piece, so if you want to see the trailer first, go ahead and check it out, and then come back to this video. Now I want to start out by saying that this trailer is so much better than the original one that was released a few months ago. If you remember that one, it looked just like Advanced Warfare and a little combination of Ghost in it, and it was not appealing. It's not what the Black Ops franchise is about. So I'm so glad to see this one because it's fresh, it's new, and it has some cool aerial aspects to it, but it also keeps everything so grounded, and that's what we love in the Black Ops series. So I'm going to start out this video by talking about the Dragonfire in the upper left hand corner of your screen here, and the only reason I want to point that out is because it looks like a futuristic version of the Dragonfire found in Black Ops 2, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It was a fan favorite kill streak, and I used it a lot. It was actually really cool, but the only problem I have with it is that it's so weak. I mean, watch whenever the players go around the corner here. It takes 1 or 2 shots and it's already dead. Now, the counter argument could be that it already has damage on it, but I'm assuming that it doesn't simply because it's not smoking or on fire or showing any other signs of damage. And in Black Ops 2, whenever your Dragonfire would take damage, it would start smoking and it would catch fire. So I don't think they would downgrade it and then not show any signs of damage in this game. And I also want to point out that it is remote controlled by the player. If you look at the minimap in the upper left hand corner, there's one player that just doesn't move at all throughout this footage. And I'm assuming that he's not camping, judging by the gameplay in this footage. I would imagine that everybody wants to show off the game, so why would they just sit in the corner and camp up Capture Zone A? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm assuming he's remote controlling it, and that's not a bad thing either. It's just that I kind of wish this thing would automatically follow the player around whenever they activate the kill streak. That way, whenever they're going around a corner or anything like that, this thing would go around the corner with them and fire on any nearby enemies. And that would be a really cool aspect to add to this kill streak, but again, that's just my personal opinion. I would love that, but it doesn't seem like that's the case here. Anyway, another awesome aspect that I'm so happy to announce that they're having is that they're keeping combat axes within the series, and that's so great to see. I love using tomahawks or combat axes in Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, and to see it in Black Ops 3 is just so great, and it doesn't look like it's as fast as the release rate for the tomahawks in Black Ops 1, but it doesn't look like it releases as slow as the combat axes in Black Ops 2. So this is going to be really cool to mess around with because people can tomahawk you really quickly now. They're going to go around. Hopefully they'll have some ballistic knife feature in here. And I'm sure they will for zombies because it's a key aspect in reviving people. So to see this in gameplay right now is really cool, and I'm excited to try this out for myself. So the next thing I want to talk about is how they used Call of Duty Ghost, Advanced Warfare, and Destiny within the ideas for this game. And there's nothing wrong with any of this. Games do it all the time. They reference other games, they use the ideas that players like, and they put them into their own games in their own way. So there's nothing wrong with this. I just want to simply point them out for all of you. So they use the knee sliding a lot in this gameplay trailer, and it's okay. I like the knee sliding, but I personally prefer the dolphin diving. Dolphin diving was so much fun, and players had a lot more fun with that. Knee sliding is cool. I like being able to go over objects and shoot people at the same time, but again, that's just like a Call of Duty Ghost feature, and I personally like the Black Ops dolphin diving. That's just me. Now they took the jumping system from Advanced Warfare and Destiny. It's almost like a small combination of it, because in Advanced Warfare, you had the exosuit, you jumped around, and I just didn't like the jerking motion of going from side to side really quickly in the air. It made it way too hard to aim at people and kill them. I like it when players play on the ground, they can crouch, they can dolphin dive, they can lay down, but I just don't like jumping all over in the air. It's not what Call of Duty is about. I just like being able to play standard shooting game where everybody's on the ground, and it's just fair in that sense. So you can actually see where the jumping and sliding bar is for each player underneath the crosshairs for their gun. So it's a little U-shaped kind of bar, and it goes down whenever you jump or whenever you slide. And it's cool because you can actually see how much energy you have left in order to complete a certain action, but at the same time, it's almost visually distracting. I mean, it's in the way of where I'm trying to shoot. If I'm trying to record for a montage or just for some trolling videos or whatever I want to make, I don't want to have to see this bar move up and down non-stop. It's unnecessary. Players get the hint. If you can't jump anymore, that means you've already used your energy enough in jumping, or you've already slid in a certain amount of time. So it's almost like they don't need this on the user interface. It's unnecessary. So that's one little knock I have on it. I don't like having that bar there. It's distracting for me. However, there are aspects of this section of the video that I do like. One of them is that you can change the gender of your character as you're playing, so you can be a male or female. I know there's a lot of girl gamers out there nowadays, and they're going to enjoy this. It's a pretty standard feature in first-person shooters now. It was introduced in Call of Duty Ghost, so I'm glad to see that they kept that here. That's good for other people that just want to switch up the characters now and then. I do like that the jumping in this game, although the bar annoys me, and I don't like the idea of having an almost miniature exosuit jumping around, I do like that it's almost like Destiny in the sense that it's a smooth jump, and you almost glide when you're midair. So it's almost like you're hovering around and jumping rather than just jumping around like your Frogger. Like, it's not insane like that. So in that sense, it's okay. Not too happy about it, but it's okay. And the last thing that I want to point out is Molotov cocktail, or basically the fire grenade right here. And that is just so cool. Players are going to love using that. I'm not positive they had that in Advanced Warfare or not. I didn't play it that much, to be honest. But it is a really cool grenade to have. Players are going to love using it, and it's just cool to look at. Moving on to the next section of the video, I want to talk about 3 amazing things that I'm so excited to talk about. The first of which is heat tracking abilities. Yes, a player can actually track down another player by following their footsteps to wherever they've gone to. And this includes wall riding. Wall riding right here is shown. You can actually jump on the wall, ride any wall to any location that you would like, and track down that player. So in coexistence with the heat tracking, I just want to point out that this heat tracking could be a little overpowered, and I'm assuming it works in a sense that if you shoot a player with a few rounds, it'll actually activate your ability or your perk that you have on your character, and that way you can actually track down the player for the next few seconds. However, if you're chasing a character that you've just tagged with a few of your bullets, it could be overpowered in Search and Destroy because that just leads you right to them, and that's kind of unfair. Search and Destroy is supposed to be sneaky and you're supposed to be stealth-like, but if you're getting hit with just like maybe one little pistol shot, someone can track you down instantly, and it kind of ruins the point of the game. And I'm not really excited about that sense, but I love the ability as a whole right now from what I'm seeing. Now I'm sure there's a counter ability, such as Cold-Blooded, that will actually cancel out this effect, hiding you from any heat sensing abilities. So that could work, but at the same time, that's kind of bad because it will take away from one of your perk slots on your character because you'll just be hiding from people that overuse this ability. However, it does look really cool. I'm interested to see how it works because it looks really fun right now, and I love the wall riding abilities that coexist with it. Now, the third thing that I want to talk about is the composite bow, and it doesn't look like it's a kill streak to me. It almost appears as if it's a third weapon slot that's available to the player when they get a certain amount of points. Now, that's a really cool feature that I think they're adding in this game. Instead of having just kill streaks, you also have that added ability slot or added equipment slot where you can have an extra weapon or piece of equipment. So far we've seen the composite bow, and we've also seen the 2 rods slamming down and killing players around wherever the impact is. And that's really cool. It's interesting to see how many different abilities or equipment uses you can actually have from this slot. Now, as a whole, this composite bow is so badass. I love the name, I love the way it looks, I love that it has a really insanely quick fire rate, and I love that it's a one-shot, one-kill. And on top of all that greatness, it has an explosion that detonates once it's shot and fired onto a target. So that is just so amazing. I really wish this was a primary or secondary weapon that you can use in-game, but from the looks of it, it looks just like you can use it in the third weapon slot or kill streak only. So that's unfortunate, but it really is an amazing weapon, and I can't wait to use it during gameplay because it looks awesome. So in the next section of the video, you'll notice that there's a fan favorite being brought back, and it is the shock charge from Black Ops 2. And I love this. It's basically a futuristic version of the shock charge that we've already seen before, and there's nothing wrong with that. They did it with the Dragonfire earlier and with the Combat Axe, and they're even doing that with the game modes. I mean, if you'll notice now, they have Hardpoint, they had Domination, they had Team Deathmatch, and I don't even know what else they have, but that's just already 3 classic game modes that Black Ops fans love to play. So it's a smart decision, honestly. So they're bringing back old equipment, they're bringing back old game modes, and I think they're introducing a little bit of new abilities just to kind of advance all this good stuff that players already love. So it's really good to see that. One thing that is really great in this scene is that they have a new ability being introduced, and it's called the glitch. So we've already talked about the idea of each player having their own ability or third weapon slot, whatever you want to call it, and I'm assuming that this is just that character's ability. So originally we had the gravity spikes. That was kind of for like the meathead character that is really like brute force, rushes in, and just takes out anyone in the game. Then we had the sniper with the composite bow known as a Sparrow. They were very quick, they ran fast, they shot fast, they were sneaky, and so that's why they got the bow. And now we have the glitch, and this looks like a computer kind of science fiction looking glitch that sends you backwards in time 4 or 5 seconds to where you previously were, and that is just really smart. So I'm assuming that's for a tactical player, which is what this character is representing. So guys, in this last section of the trailer, we can actually see lots of bits and pieces of really interesting concepts that are to come in later gameplay footage or trailers for this game, and I can't really discuss them too much because they're not showing that much in it, but it's actually really cool what we can discuss from it. So I want to point out that this guy is basically a robot. It's like 95% robot, and he wields a minigun in his arm, and that kind of reinforces the theme for this game. It's basically showing off that humans are actually becoming machines of war. They're changing their whole bodies, and they're evolving, and they're enhancing themselves in a way that they can actually be the weapons in war rather than relying on anything else. And this kind of ties into the idea that we discussed earlier in this trailer, and that was that each character has their own specific third weapon slot or third ability slot or equipment slot, whatever you want to call it. And it's not a kill streak again, but it is something that's specific to each character. So as I already said, we have the archer, we have the meathead, we have the tactician, and now we have the robot that's wielding the minigun. And I feel as if this supports the idea that each character has something that's specific only for them. And that's really cool, but the only problem that I have with it is that if I wanted to be a robot, but I want to be a robot that snipes people, why should I have to use a minigun for my third weapon slot rather than the bow and arrow? So in that sense, I'm actually hoping that they don't glue each player's third weapon slot specifically to that character, only so I can customize my character to its fullest potential and in any way that I want. So if I want to make a sniper class that has the ability called the glitch on it so I can teleport around as I'm sniping, I want to be able to do that without being forced to use an ability in my third weapon slot that I don't want to use. And I'm assuming that they'll have this option for players whenever the game does come out, but from what I can actually make out in the trailer so far, it doesn't seem like that's the case. Anyway, there are just so many cool features in this game, and I love to talk about them. One of them being the spiky ball that they're showing at the end of the trailer here. And it's basically a kill streak that whenever you use it, it drops down from a plane, and I'm sure it just targets any nearby enemy player, and it just fucks them up. So it's kind of like that of Mario Kart whenever you're winning a race, and then you know your friend's going to fuck you up with that bombshell, and then you just like don't talk to him ever again. It's one of those things, and it's just like really cool. I love that in the game, and it just looks like an interesting kill streak in general. So just like imagine an entire team that saved up this kill streak, and you have like 5 or 6 of them saved up, and then use these at the same time. That would be unbelievable, and it would just like scare the shit out of the team. And I love that look, I love the feeling of that, and it just adds like adrenaline to the game. Another cool thing that they have is that you can actually swim underneath water and kill people. Now I haven't seen that in a Call of Duty game before, so I'm glad they're adding some new kind of element to it. It's a different level because we've already had aerial aspects, we've had ground running all the time, but we've never been able to go like underneath any of the environment pieces like you can do in this. And that's really cool to see because they have such amazing themed maps for all of their multiplayer maps that I've seen throughout the years, and it's just really cool to think of the potential that this unlocks for them in creating a new map. Because imagine if you're just like in some kind of abandoned cove and now you can go underneath water and go through all these tunnels. What if you eventually get to a tunnel where maybe there's a skeleton at the end of it and it has some treasure and a note and stuff? Like cool little Easter eggs like that. That's what makes it for a player, and it makes it fun to hide in like specific rooms like that where it's just kind of like abandoned or hidden or something special to the player that's just like their own little spot. And they have so much content to work with this new underwater swimming ability and shooting for players to use. And I'm going to love that ability in this game, and I'm probably going to abuse it a lot. I can actually see someone like Vanoss and all of his friends using that and just staying underneath water and trying to pull some kind of like mermaid stunt where they just kind of like kill people in the water and stay in there. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see if they have a drowning aspect to the swimming for each character, but I'm assuming they will. But if they didn't, of course, people like Vanoss again, they're going to have some cool videos like that. At least I would hope, and that would be really funny to watch. So we also have this awesome kill streak here, and it basically summons down a robot from the sky as your companion to fight against enemy players. So in my opinion, it kind of looks like Chappie, so you're basically summoning Chappie down from the sky to help you out, and that's really cool and all. But the only problem that I have with the footage here is that whenever it's summoned, it doesn't walk or move at all. It's basically a stationary robot that stands there and shoots. But this gameplay footage could be a little bit deceiving, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw out there that it might walk around and shoot other players that are against you. So that's going to be amazing. I'm so excited to use that. It kind of reminds me of the little Riot Shield squad or Riot Shield buddy that you get in Call of Duty Ghosts, where it's like 8 kills or something like that on the support kill streak. And once you get it, he just goes around and helps you fuck up other people. And that's great and all. I hope that's how this works because it looks really fun to use, and that would just be a huge game changer for this kill streak. The next thing I want to talk about is this really cool looking electric gun, and this thing looks like it paralyzes its enemies through like this electric trapping web, and it's actually really cool looking. I love the visual aspect of it. The only problem with it that I have, and it's just a personal issue to be honest, I just don't know how it kills people. Like, does it just paralyze them? Does it kill them instantly? Or does it kill them over time by trapping them? And if it does kill them over time, how does the enemy player that's been hit by this actually escape it? Or can they escape it? And that's just one thing I wish they kind of would have showed off in this trailer, but it's basically a little tease as to what's to come in future gameplay. Now the final thing that I want to talk about is this big ass ship in the sky. This thing looks so cool. It kind of reminds me of the ship that's seen in Captain America and the Avengers. So this thing is just like a flying battleship. I don't even know what to call it. Maybe the ass eater. Because I mean, look at this guy. He's like, oh shit, my ass. Because it's getting eaten by the ship. It's insane. Anyway, that looks like it's a really high kill streak. I probably won't get that, but it does look cool. And I like it when someone on my team gets it. Someone else gets it, I'm just going to leave the game. Because I don't want pink eye. And yeah, that's basically my entire breakdown analysis of the Black Ops 3 trailer that was released at E3 this year. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry it was really long, but I wanted to make sure I had every little detail down so that you guys can understand more about the trailer as I went through it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.